And today we are going to be talking about miracles, about belief, and about faith. Has anyone here ever seen the play called Peter Pan? Well, if you haven't, there's this moment where the audience members must clap their hands if they believe in fairies. So as you clap your hands to show that you believe, Tinkerbell on the stage will come alive. Now, her very existence hinges on the volume of the applause that comes from the audience. And you know how that go. You know, you might see a little flutter. The more applause comes, the more she flutters, and so on and so forth. Now, as the audience belief rises, the applause multiplies. And, eventually Tinkerbell comes back to life. Likewise, I want us to look at two healings that took place in the New Testament. The woman with the perpetual menstruation or perpetual menstrual cycle, and the healing of the centurion's daughter and their implications. I guess I like that word a lot in each one of my service, the implications. So if you can, turn, if you have your Bibles, which you should, turn with me to Mark 5:25. I'm just going to read that for you, and then we can go from there. Okay. Matthew 5:25. And here we are. And when the woman had had discharge of blood for 12 years, and who had suffered under many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was no better, but she grew worse. She had heard the reports about Jesus and came up behind him in the crowd and touched his garment. For she said, if I can just touch the hem of his garment, I will be made well. And immediately the flow of blood dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of her disease. And Jesus, let's get back there now. And Jesus, perceiving that power had gone out from him, immediately he turned into the crowd and he said, who touched me? And his disciples said to him, you see the crowds pressing around you, and yet you say, who touched me? And he looked around to see who had touched it or who had done it. But the woman, knowing what she had done or what had happened, came in fear, trembling, and fell before him and told him the whole truth. And he said to her, daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your disease. That's very interesting. And we're going to hone in on some key words there soon. Actually, let me keep this up as we go over some of those key words. Let's just go. We'll come back to that. Let's go to Matthew. It's actually the same story. Well, let's go to the centurion story in Matthew 8, verse 5. Let me go to Matthew 8:5. Okay, I hope you all are having a great day today. And I like the ESV. That seems to be a better translation, or the best that you can get from a translation. So we're going to read Matthew 5 verses. Let's start with 8 verse 5. Let's go ahead and get started there. It said, when he had entered Capernaum, a centurion came forward to him, appealing to him, Lord, my servant is lying paralyzed at home, suffering terribly. And he said to him, I will come and heal him. But the centurion replied, get this now, the centurion replied, Lord, I am not worthy to have you come under my roof, but only say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I too am a man under authority with soldiers under me. And I say to one, go, and he goes. And to another, come, and he comes. And to my servant, do this, and he does it. Now, when Jesus heard this, he marveled. He marveled at this guy. He said to those that were around him, truly, I tell you, with no one in Israel have I found such faith. I tell you, many will come from the east and the west and recline at the table with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom. Now, this isn't part of what I'm presenting here. I'm just reading the whole thing within context. And actually, that's as far as we need to read. Verse 13. And to the centurion said, go, let it be done to you as you had believed. And the servant was healed at that very moment. My question is, did Jesus perform the miracle, or did the woman perform the miracle? Did Jesus perform the miracle, or did the woman perform the miracle? Did Jesus perform the miracle, or did the centurion perform the miracle? Think about that very closely. And when you read those passages very closely, let's see what can we glean from this. You can be healed by your faith alone. In other words, by your belief. You can tap into the power of God by your faith or by your belief. Years ago, there was the movie called The Secret, or The Power of Belief. Believe as if you already have it, and it will come as you believe. Now, that can work in a negative too. Come as you, if you believe in something negative, then that's what you will get. But she did not pray to God, nor did God answer her prayer. Think about that. The woman with the issue of blood didn't pray to God, nor did God answer her prayer. She acted on her own initiative and received according to her belief. Now, if only I could touch the hem of his garment, I would be healed. If only I can, I'm giving you an example, if only I can drink this glass of water that God has provided, I will get my healing. If only I can bathe in the oceans, if I can bathe in the ocean's healing properties that God has provided, I will be healed. If only I can make it to church and have the pastor lay hands on me, who I feel is a man of God, I will be healed. Now, my wife is a neuroscientist and neuropsychologist, and she likes to say the power of suggestion. And we've experienced that in the hospital as well, where a patient will get some news about their condition and end up dying, when they've looked later and said, oh, we gave that patient was perfectly healthy. We told them the result of another patient, but this patient experienced what they thought, what they believed. So what I'm saying is, either way, healing is in the belief. Belief and faith are opposite sides of the same coin. They come as a set. You can't have one without the other. And I know we know Hebrews 11, without faith. Jesus only performed a few miracles in his hometown. Why? Because of belief. Because of their belief. They didn't believe he could do it, so he couldn't do it. I'm not saying it was like they were his kryptonite, but he could not do it because of their belief. They were like, hey, this Jesus guy, we grew up with you, man. You're a carpenter. You work with us, man. You've been doing all this stuff with us until the age of 30. Now all of a sudden you're 30 years old and you're trying to, I don't believe you, man. You're one of us. So their belief in him, like they say, a prophet is not honored in his own home. That goes back to that same thing. They know him. They're too comfortable with him. And it works in business as well. Sometimes your best business relationships are with people who don't even know you. Sometimes your best business success in life will be with people who don't know you, who will follow you, who don't know you. The people who know you might not follow you because they feel too comfortable, and they say, well, how can it be? But I digress. Now, Jesus was the conduit for the power, but people had to believe in the power source and take action on their belief. And they took action on their belief however they envisioned it. The woman felt that she touched just the hem of his garment. And the centurion said, well, hey, this is what I do. So, hey, if you do what I do, then, hey, it'll still work. She'll still be healed. My servant will be healed. And if you think about that, Jesus didn't know. Jesus didn't say, oh, my daughter, my son, I lay hands on you, you're healed. Go out. At this time, he didn't spit in the mud and rub it on the gentleman's eyes and he can heal. He didn't extend the man's limb, who he did, or he didn't do all the different miracles that he did, or he didn't go to Tabitha and raise her from the dead. In a couple of instances, he didn't even know that the people needed healing. But the people, whether we go with social proof, the woman had heard about his power, so she had social proof. The centurion had heard, so he had social proof. So with his social proof, it strengthened his belief. So when he asked with expectation, knowing that he was going to receive what it was he asked for before he even asked it. And, he told Jesus, hey, listen, Jesus was going to come with the man to heal, come with the centurion to heal his paralyzed servant. But he said, listen, Jesus, now you ain't got to do all that. I believe that even if you just say it, Jesus, I believe that she'll be healed. And Jesus said, well, hey, as you believe, and it was healed. The woman with blood, she just felt it. Well, hey, she could have said, well, hey, if I touch this shoe or if I touch his pants, but she thought, well, hey, if I just touch the hem of his garment, then I'll be healed. And Jesus didn't know, because he said, hey, wait a minute, hey, power went out from me. Who touched me? And his disciples said, Jesus, what are you talking about, man? We walking through this crowd, people bumping into you all over the place. And Jesus said, no. Somebody specifically had their prayers answered. They received healing from me. I don't know who it is. I didn't authorize it, so to speak. I didn't intentionally do it. They did it themselves. So you see what I'm saying? Your belief is very important. So for the woman with the issue of blood, she believed she could only have touched his garment. If she could only touch his garment, that she would be healed. And the same thing with the centurion. The centurion, he told Jesus, it's not necessary for you to come and raise my servant. If you just say the word, it'll be done. So both the centurion and the woman with an issue of blood received the answers to their prayers in the manner they believed they would receive them. So if you believe in your supernatural miracle, it's as simple as Jesus said. It has been done unto you as you have believed. Be it the power of suggestion or social proof, or however the dynamics of the science works behind that, it still works. So when you come to get your miracle, believe that you have it, and don't just come asking for a miracle. Know how you want to receive it. Know how you want to expect it or receive that miracle, and be in a state of expectation. They tell people in business, when you do your business plan, they say, know the outcome, know the end. Know the end first, and then work your way backwards. The how it will come, but just know what it is you want at the end. And then you work steps to get to your end goal. Same thing. They knew what they wanted. They wanted to be healed. He wanted his servant healed, and they got what they want in the way they expected to receive it. So I hope this was helpful to someone today. And until the next time, this is Minister Horace Dobson